Now in my previous video, I told y'all my top 2 prospects in this draft, one being the generational talent that is Victor Wembanyama, and the other one being Scoot Henderson. I gave you guys a little insight and breakdown on their game and a full-on scouting report to let you know, and at the end I let you know whether the hype was real or fake. And in that video I described those players as players that should come in day one and have an immediate impact on their franchises. Now in this video I'll be giving you some players who, while they might not come in day one and be as amazing as those two, they should eventually develop into some nice perennial all-stars and secondary stars alongside whoever they're by. And the first one on that list being none other than Thompson. Now Thompson is a product of OTE where he played for the City Reapers, and this past season he averaged 16.4 points per game while dishing out 5.9 assists, getting 5.9 boards, all on 56.6% field goal percentage. Now the main thing that stands out about Amen when you watch him is that he frequently defies the laws of physics with a different brand of athleticism. His quick twitch lateral movement and never-ending hang time and effortless verticality allow him to teleport past defenders and then rise up and finish among the tallest of players. Few players and few prospects have the ability to shift into top speed with one step, but Thompson can go from 0 to 100 just by planting his foot and changing direction. When he has the ball in his hands, he's not going to have any issues getting by defenders on the way to the hoop. He has counters as a ball handler, and he can adjust to defenders rotating to stop his drive with an array of Euro step type moves that shield the ball from the defender. He also has some nice size and length for a lead guard, and it wouldn't be surprising at all if one day we talked about him as one of the best down here playmakers in the NBA. The amount of separation he can gain on his way to the rim using only a few steps is truly remarkable. Now this isn't just on the offensive side of the floor either. His unique athleticism translates to both sides of the court. For as easily as he blows by defenders on offense, it's equally as difficult to beat him off the dribble. As he has a 7-foot wingspan, it makes it even easier for an absurd athlete like him to contain the ball, and his speed and recovery and rotation is second to none. He can miscalculate gambles at times, and he has some poor team defensive habits, but he should clean it up as he gets deeper into his career. Now he has some great instincts, and he rarely takes plays off, even though he expends plenty of energy as the offensive engine on the other end. His amazing feel for the game as a passer morphs into high level event creation on the defensive end of the ball. Prospects are not supposed to be as cerebral or have technique as sound as he does already, and nobody on earth is supposed to possess his athletic trait. Now the make or break for Thompson in the NBA will be his shooting. Developing some pull-up shooting gravity from deep is the ultimate goal, but he should start by building a foundation with a reliable catch and shoot jumper. He shot just 33% on unguarded catch and shoot threes this past season, and that dips to 25% when including all 3-point attempts. Also, despite showing some touch as a finisher, he is prone to really bad misses from distance, especially when shooting out the bounce. But with all of that being said, his athleticism and his traits, and on the fact that he has a great work ethic, I don't really have much doubt that Thompson should be good in this league one day. Now next is none other than Jairus Walker. He's a 6'8" forward from Houston, and this past season he averaged 11.2 points per game, got a steal a game, and took down 6.8 boards per game, and he did all of this on 53.4 true shooting. Now as a 6'8" forward, he has the ability to match up with any position on the court. He's big enough to bang down low with 7-footers, and he can step out on the perimeter and defend guards as well. His 7'2" wingspan will prove to be a big asset when he's guarding shorter players in the NBA. His versatility on the offensive side of the ball will prove to be a huge asset as well. As a forward, he has great ball skills, and that will prove important as he takes defenders off the dribble. NBA teams should be able to deploy Walker in a variety of roles offensively. He can set thundering screens or roll hard to the rim, where his power and soft touch guarantees favorable results. He also can operate as a playmaking hub from the elbow, and he's a great connectivity passer and always seems to make the right extra pass. With that being said, the hesitance for Walker comes with his ceiling. There are some hurdles that he will have to clear before reaching stardom in the NBA. The jumper isn't really that consistent right now. The NBA is a different ballgame, and he will have to make NBA defenders guard him on the perimeter to fully unlock that slashing ability. Also, he sometimes gets overwhelmed when he's swarmed. If he can speed up his decision making and fully embrace the playmaking leg of his skill set, he will most definitely prosper in the NBA. NBA. I think Jairus can be a high level utility player who's a plug and play and can do anything a team asks for. In my mind, I think of him as a better version of Aaron Gordon right now. Now, he might not be able to provide you the shooting that a Brandon Miller would, but he'll make up for it in every other aspect of the game. Next up is the other twin brother, Asura Thompson, where in this year in OTE he averaged 16.3 points per game, brought down 7 rebounds a game, dished out 6 assists, and did all this on 48% true shooting. Now, like Amen, Asura is an athletic freak, and this usually shows itself in transition, which is where he gets a large amount of his scoring. He soars through the air for control layups and powerful dunks. He's also an excellent cutter off ball who creates offensive movement even without the ball. His cuts have to be respected due to his speed and vertical athleticism. He is a legit lob threat even as a guard. But Asura's potential on the defensive side is his greatest strength. While he tends to lose focus or effort occasionally, he also shows incredible defensive tools and not just the measurement. Thompson is good at moving his feet and staying in front of quick and shifty ball handlers. He can also rotate from the weak side to protect the rim. He also can read passes and get anticipatory steals. This all-around defensive toolbox is the most enticing part of his game. And part of what makes his defense so strong is his understanding of basketball. Asura is not just one of these young prodigies who just skates by on athleticism and talent. He shows a legitimate feel for the game, both as a help defender and as a connective passer in the offense. He sees the floor and distributes the ball very intelligently. He's really good at making the simple and smart pass, which is something all coaches love in the NBA. He is both unselfish and intelligent. That passing talent is very uncommon in young players and helps you see how he can fit on the NBA team. The biggest question about Asura lies with his offensive creation. He's not the same level of shot creator that his brother is, and like his brother, he struggles to shoot. He struggles to score in isolation, he has turnover tendencies, and is inconsistent when getting to the rim. Now, while those 6 assists per game are nice, his 3.4 turnovers per game hurt just as much. Teams looking to draft him will have to wonder if he can be a true ball handler or if he'll be relegated to a purely off-ball role. In my opinion, I think he's better as a secondary scorer, and I don't think he's somebody who you want as your primary ball handler. Now, me personally, I love Asura. Although Amen ranks higher on his list, I don't think Asura is that far off from him. And just like his brother, his shooting will develop how high his ceiling will be in the NBA. But one thing I can bet on is that defense will be changing for some team out there. Now, next on my list is a pretty well known and talked about player throughout the entire draft. That is none other than Brandon Miller. In his freshman year at Alabama, he put on a show and he had one of the better freshman years we have seen in a while. He averaged 18.8 points per game, dished out 2 assists, brought down 8 rebounds, and did all of this on 58.3% true shooting. Now, we all know this, Brandon was one of the best 3-point shooters in all of college basketball, as he hit just shy of 40% of his threes on the season despite a late cold spell. He moves very fluidly with the ball as he regularly attacks defenders off the catch, and he moves very smoothly into pull-up jumpers or driving to the cup. He should be an immediate threat as a spot-up shooter, and he looks like a guy you would draw up plays for to get looks from on the perimeter. He shot 30.4% from 3 other freshmen on an extremely high volume, and he knocked down about 86% of his free throws. An underrated part of his game is the fact that he is a pretty good passer for a player at his position, particularly off the dribble. He can function as a secondary ball handler in the pick and roll, and he's unselfish, looking for kick-out passes and dump-offs when driving. He makes those live dribble one-handed passes with both hands, and he's able to hit both the roller and the opposite corner in pick and rolls situation. Defensively, he has the traits to be about above average. He has good length and generally plays with good effort and awareness on that end of the floor. Now, Miller shows some impressive leaping ability when tracking down blocks with a full head of steam, but that athleticism doesn't translate well with the ball in his hands. He's not exceptionally quick, he doesn't have the first step like some of the players before him, and he doesn't elevate really well when attacking the basket. Now, he did have some flashes where he blew by a defender, but most of the time they were smaller guys or younger dudes who he was just better than. Plus, more often than not, he's finishing below the rim when he's in traffic. He struggles to finish around the rim, and that increases more when contact comes. On top of that, he's got some wiggle with the ball, and it improved as the season went on, but the handle is still a little bit loose in my eyes. Now, Brandon is a phenomenal player, and I think he'll be a great second option given his amazing shooting ability from beyond the arc and the impressive package he brings offensively. I do kind of see the defensive upside, but I don't think he'll be any better than above average. Now, the final prospect I will be talking about in this video is my personal favorite in the entire draft, and that is none other than Cam Whitmore out of Villanova. Cam had a pretty nice season at Villanova filled with ups and downs. He averaged 12.5 points per game, got about 1.5 steals, and he dished out about 5.3 assists per game on 57% true shooting. Now, to me, the main selling point for Whitmore as a prospect is the fact that few players at his age are able to combine strength, skill, and fluid footwork with leverage as a self-creator the way that he can. If you take a quick look across the NBA, every competitive team has a wing or two that stands at 6'6" or taller and that can create a shot within 2 to 3 dribbles from anywhere on the floor and punish the defense on open looks, and he can get into the paint when he's ran off their spot. Now, though his season-long 3-point percentage of 34.3% doesn't jump out, it is worth noting that only 54% of these were assisted, which is a pretty low number. He flashed some shot creation in drives as he used his supreme lower body strength and legitimate 99th percentile athleticism to create space on a wide variety of step backs, side steps, and hop step jumpers that require immense levels of coordination. One thing that Whitmore will be able to do from day one is have the ability to attack defenders one-on-one with his step back going left and convert in an efficient manner. His creation style works both at the second and third levels, and he has the touch and size to get it off over athletic defenders that offer contest and cover ground pretty quickly. The most noticeable way that, to me, that Whitmore weaponizes his lower body strength is creating space going away from or parallel with the hoop, a critical element of his second and third level scoring. Now, not far behind that is an explosive first step like some of the prospects before him. He teleports past defenders on drive and even from a standstill, and especially on the move. Once he gets a defender on his hip, his core strength makes it very difficult to bump him off his path, and he can cover a ton of ground with that last leaping step that he used to take off towards the rim. Now, when it comes to defense, he has kind of an edge rusher instinct in football on how to position his body to dislodge screeners without fouling, or he'll just simply bend around them. A +2 wingspan and an elite strength/footwork combo lends themselves well to the point of attack defense, and as he is pretty good with general on-ball screen coverages. Now, he is pretty decent at on-ball screen coverages, but he did lack communication throughout the season on that side of the ball. He's pretty nice on ball as well, as he has fantastic hands and he always keeps a low stance and has the quickness and strength to hold up against any guard, wing, or forward in space. He actually was top 20 in steal percentage in the nation among freshmen, along with Anthony Black and Cason Wallace. To me, becoming a switchable defender with that versatility to lock down the twos through the fours at a high level and gobble up smalls with loose handles is a pretty realistic outcome for Whitmore. Now, one big critique I have in his game was the playmaking for his team. For a wing that's projected to be drafted inside the top 10, he had a historically low assist rate. It's pretty rare for a wing to be drafted highly after producing so little as a passer, especially as the game has modernized now and requires a more expansive offensive skill set from every player on the roster. He totaled just 19 assists across 26 games in college and recorded more than 1 assist in a game just 6 times. On top of that, in more than half of the games he appeared in, he tallied 0 assists. Now, this is probably due to this lack of a good supporting cast he had, so most of the time he probably just trusted himself with the ball and his ability to put the ball in the basket versus his teammates. This caused him to have a lot of tunnel vision, and I think this is why we see his assist numbers look like this. Now, with that being said, through scouting this class, it's not a whole lot of players that have sold me harder on their NBA upside than Cam Whitmore. The foundation of his game is a mixture of unteachable athletic traits and a supreme skill, a combination that can only be achieved with a great work ethic. And as one of the younger players in this class, there's plenty of room to grow as a playmaker, and in the meantime, he can provide shot making, strong finishing, and a high motor on the defensive side of the ball. But these are just my opinions on these players. Let me know who your favorite player out of the bunch is, and let me know if any of the players I mentioned should be a little bit lower. But that's all I have for now. Until next time, peace.